Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Writing Paragraph for Semester 1. Last week, we have dealt with subject-verb agreement and the various rules that govern it. Then, we have covered sentence composition and the four major rules that make it academic, being conciseness, clarity, variety, and unity. This week's course is going to deal with sentence fragments. Consider the following sentences. Darcy went shopping in the mall. Darcy went shopping in the mall. Notice that in the first sentence, in the mall does not contain a subject, nor does it contain a predicate. It is a sentence fragment, and it does not make sense on its own since it lacks information. We cannot say in the mall and stay quiet. It is not a sentence. It makes no sense. Now consider the following sentences. If you travel this summer, you travel this summer. If you travel this summer, get me a souvenir. Notice that here too, the sentence does not make much sense and cannot stand alone since it lacks information. When you say, if you travel this summer, you are still waiting for the completion of the sentence. The second and third sentences are examples of how to fix a fragmented sentence that consists of a subordinate clause. So, in the second case, we have taken off if, so you travel this summer left, and in the third case, we have added words in order to make the sentence more complete and understandable. As we have established in the previous courses, a sentence expresses a complete thought or idea and contains a subject and a predicate. However, sometimes a sentence is unfinished, either because it is missing a subject or a verb, or because it lacks the information needed to express the thought. This is called a sentence fragment. A common error is the use of a prepositional phrase as a complete sentence. A preposition relates the noun or pronoun following it to some other part of the sentence. A phrase is a group of connected words that does not contain a subject or a predicate. Furthermore, a common mistake is the use of subordinate clauses as complete sentences, like we have seen if you travel this summer. Even though the subordinate clause contains a subject and a verb, it is not a complete sentence. You can correct it by eliminating the subordinating conjunction, in this case, if, or by adding words to complete the sentence. If you travel this summer, give me or bring me souvenirs. Next, we have verbal fragments. A verbal is like a verb. It has a verb role, but it also acts as another part of speech. There are three kinds of verbal fragments: participles, gerunds, and infinitive. Starting with participles, we have the following sentences. We found the baby sleeping in its cot. Defeated by her nagging, the husband finally got his wife a kitten. The kid was eating a lollipop. Notice that sleeping in the first sentence modifies the baby like an adjective, but it also takes an object in its cot like a verb. Similarly, in the second sentence, defeated modifies the husband like an adjective and is in turn modified by the prepositional phrase by her nagging like a verb. In addition, in the last sentence, eaten needs was in order to be completed and for the sentence to make sense. As a conclusion, a participle acts as both a verb and an adjective. A participle cannot make a complete sentence without a true verb. The second case is for gerunds. We have the following sentences. I love baking cupcakes for my friends. Eating a popsicle refreshes us on a hot summer day. Winning a spelling bee contest requires a lot of dedication. Notice in the first sentence that bacon is the object of love, like a noun. It also takes an object, cupcakes, like a verb. Similarly, in the second sentence, eaten is the subject of refreshes, like a noun. It also takes an object, a popsicle, like a verb. In addition, in the last sentence, notice that winning needs the verb requires in order to be completed and for the sentence to make sense. Otherwise, the part between brackets, winning a spelling bee contest, will be a sentence fragment with a gerund and it cannot stand alone. As a conclusion, a gerund acts as both a verb and a noun. A gerund cannot make a complete sentence without a true verb. Lastly, we have infinitives. In the following sentences, Eva wanted to eat a homemade lasagna. The first player to break the high score wins the entire game. We used milk to soften the dough. He decided to buy flowers for his grandma. Notice that in the first sentence, to eat is the object of wanted, like a noun. It also takes an object, a homemade lasagna, like a verb. Similarly, to break modifies player in the second sentence like an adjective. It also has a direct object, the high score, like a verb. Furthermore, in the third sentence, to soften modifies used like an adverb. It also takes an object, the dough, like a verb. Lastly, notice that in the last sentence, to buy needs the verb decided in order to be completed and for the sentence to make sense. As a conclusion, an infinitive can act as a noun, an adjective, or an adverb. It usually appears with to. An infinitive cannot make a complete sentence without a true verb. Thank you so much for following the course with me today. As always, I have provided YouTube videos and practice for you. Please make sure to practice as much as you can, and I will see you in the next course.